July 21st, 2014.
Modern movies and television often mine classic stories for modern takes. The Greek classics, the Bible, and all the folk tales from centuries past. One of these, the story of Robin Hood, has been told countless times and in many ways, and mostly with an English accent. The next generation at least gets that right when our favorite omnipotent annoyance shows up and reminds us that a good Frenchman with an English accent does not a good retelling of Robin Hood make. So let's ask, what the Star Trek, as Q tries and fails to play matchmaker in the Season 4 attempt at outdoing Mel Brooks in parody with the episode Qpid. This is Treknicity. Welcome to Treknicity, a Star Trek podcast, where we do the deep dive on all things Star Trek. I'm your host, Patrick Murray, and with me are my co-hosts, Mike Raper and Lars DeSenza.
Howdy, partner.
How's everybody doing?
Better than the last time we did an episode, recorded episode.
That was rough. Laughs, it was rough. We got through it.
Yeah, that came on a little hard.
The things we do for our fans.
I just want to remind
at least
everybody.
Didn't involve a sex ghost scandal.
I want to remind everybody of the phrase "anaphasically porked."
Yeah, thankfully this episode is not going to be bad, because in this episode we're going to be mercilessly mocking the Star Trek Next Generation episode entitled Qpid. And be glad they skipped the musical number as we try to figure out just what the writers were thinking when they came up with this.
Lord knows.
Yeah. Still better than, it's still better than Sub Rosa.
I'm still trying to figure out what Sub Rosa means.
That's still the problem when we record these back to back, is we're buzzing from the other episode. We probably should have done this one first because Sub Rosa was wild.
Yeah, it was.
Because this one, thankfully, is not nearly as bad an episode. It ain't a good episode, but they can't all be winners. So the show opens with Picard being an archaeology nerd.
No way.
Who really gives a rat's left nutsack? It's really just a setup to get his love interest from last season, the TNG version of Tomb Raider self, Vash, who's totally not there to steal anything.
No way.
Yeah, this is a second appearance of Jennifer Hetrick as Vash, and the third in the Star Trek franchise overall. But oh well. So of course she gets to go and meet everybody, and of course, being a very private man, they pound this joke literally into the ground to the point Vash is rolling her eyes. Yeah, Vash gets all pissy when she finds out Picard kind of forgot to mention her to anyone. At all.
Ever.
She deals with a lot. She survives an assault by Riker in full Kirk wannabe mode, and Picard imitating a statue on the bridge as she stands there awkwardly for way too long because, yes, we'll meet later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. So after she finally chews Picard for being a very private man, Picard scurries off to his ready room to hide like a little bitch he is, just to find Q, who of course wants to do something nice for Picard for not letting him die the last time when he, the time when he popped up, dropped him on the bridge naked with no powers. So of course Q wants to do something archaeology when he sees Picard's working on it, but Picard's apparently just too damned ethical. Hold on, I need to facepalm this one myself. Okay, now that we're back, so Picard secretly goes to see Vash because, seriously, dude. And, of course, continues to be an ethical dickbag as she finds stuff, looks like Vosh was going to go down and steal some shit because it's Vosh.
You know, what's
Of
funny
course-
is that he went and saw her sub rosa. Because apparently I just learned that means in secret.
Okay,
And
whatever.
it's also amusing for those of you language buffs out there. The word vache in French means bitch.
Yeah, that's true. That tracks.
Okay. Yeah, it's the Berman era. So, of course, Q overhears this and gets his Cheshire cat face on.
Oh God.
Yeah. So Picard's in bed. Q pops in, sees there's nobody in there, jumps in himself. Picard just wants to go to sleep, but then he gets up, goes and fiddles with the pad, trying to ignore Q as Q tries to prompt him, says, "What about the woman? Hey, you got a chick, don't you?" Yeah. No. But after some banter, Q, of course, drops a very ominous, "As you wish." Sorry, wrong actor in this. Yeah. We're gonna fourth wall break the shit out of this one. And of course, he nopes out at that point. So we cut to Picard doing his dull, plodding, pedantic speech when the weird stuff starts happening. Things from our Ren Fair cast of the Next Generation start popping up, and they all get whisked happily to Sherwood Forest to become Robin Hood and his merry men. Well, except for Worf, who loudly proclaims, "I protest, I am not a merry man." Of course, they all not show who their characters are, just in time for the plot to get underway.
Dude is such a wet blanket. Seriously,
Yeah.
a wet blanket.
Yeah. He pays for it because the bad guys show up. Worf runs up to immediately get his ass kicked. And then they run away far enough for Q, who's playing the Sheriff of Nottingham, to show up and spew more exposition because the crew hadn't figured out this is the Rescue Vosh, the Maid Marian story yet.
Mhm.
Speaking of Vosh gets to play Jennifer Hedrick as she just read the script for this episode as their Renfest rejects try to play this straight. And yeah. But being Vosh, when she realizes she's going to otherwise die, she, of course, starts seducing Sir Guy because it's Vosh.
Yeah.
Hey, you're sexy. You're sexy. We could bone. I know you're not a candle or anything, but. So thankfully they skipped the Men in Tights number. Thank Glob for that, since Geordi can't tune a mandolin for shit. Worf, of course, helps him by smashing the shit out of it and walks away and then apologizes. Good job, because Geordi wasn't getting laid with that music anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Geordi is like the worst. He's the worst one to play the bard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is.
No charisma whatsoever.
No, Riker should have been the bard. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I think then Vosh would have ended up with Riker in the end.
Yeah, probably.
Although she did manage to avoid him coming at her at warp speed.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so look at him over here. Look at him. Okay, I think the only reason why he got to be, was he Little John?
Yeah.
He's Little John.
Is because his height. I think that's the only reason. But he should have totally been the bard in this one. Okay, Geordi.
Yeah. Instead, he's staying there holding his wood, which is something that Riker never has a problem with.
I'm just leaving it right there. Just leave it on there for the rest of the episode.
So, okay. Of course, meanwhile, Deanna Troi is previewing what she'll do to the Enterprise in Star Trek Generations by shooting Data with arrows.
Whoops.
Just right into it. Of course, he just pulls it out and says, it didn't hurt anything. I'm perfectly fine. And of course, Picard gets to take off and decides to take off and rescue Vosh all alone. Let's see here. Where were we at? I kind of lost my track because this is just too insane. So, meanwhile, Vosh finally gets to meet Q, who's all pissed off because she's thwarted his plans by playing Sir Guy so perfectly because he just put a life of his own in, and Vosh, of course, hey, he's cute. Totally cute. I totally want to have sex, get married, and have sex with him.
As long as he's not a ghost candle or candle ghost or
Oh, we're never gonna let that one go, are we?
nope. Just like Riker will never let go of that wood.
Okay, so then we get cut to Picard breaking in to save Vash. Of course, they get into a fight about it because they always get into a fight about it.
No way.
So of course, then of course the bad guys break in, and Vash grabs Picard's sword and holds him at sword point to save her ass. And of course, I thought at this point Picard's supposed to be holding her at sword point.
Well, I mean, they were married or not married. Sorry, they were dating at this point.
Yeah, they were engaged.
I'm pausing for the face palm on that one.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm making a dick joke, and you're not face palming.
There, I'll face
Okay.
palm and put up the face palm. How about that?
So, of course, Vash immediately writes a note to send to the crew, and Q walks in and says, "Ha, there it is." And off she goes for execution. Let's see here. So we get them coming to the chopping block, and they are arguing on the way to the chopping block. And at the chopping block, Picard argues with Q because we have to argue forever. And of course, then begins the killing, followed by light salad. The crew shows up, and we have the sword fighting. The red shirt guards start buying it. Worf swinging with the worst form ever. Yeah,
Well, it's because he's
I
used
know.
to, he's
I-
used to
I don't-
swinging a batleth, and we all know that is the worst designed melee weapon ever.
Mhm. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
really bad.
it sucks. It can be used, but yeah, it's sad and terrible. Where we go? War swinging with the worst form ever. Crusher and Troy are fighting like girls because this is the Berman era. And Patrick Stewart gets to Errol Flynn it up and save the day. Yeah, he is. To be fair, Picard gets to be a badass here. Patrick Stewart gets to play Robin Hood and look cool doing it for the moment.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, as cool as that outfit, which let's be honest, Mel Brooks's characters were better looking than that.
true. But the thing is, come on. I mean, Patrick Stewart.
They had the tighter tights.
Man in was it man in tights? Man in tights. But let's be honest. Sir Pat had he was a veteran of the Royal Shakespeare Company,
Mhm.
and so of course this is probably was right up his alley. He's like, screw it, I can.
Oh yeah, I could do this.
He's like, I mean, and the funny thing is, he's probably the only one playing it straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's no way that any of us could be like in this crew. Could you imagine the crew of the Centurion trying to
Our
get
STA game. Yeah.
yes,
Go
getting
ahead.
caught in a situation like this? There's no way. So Mike is our GM in that game, and there is absolutely no way that any of us would play that straight. We would just absolutely screw with every element of that adventure. I think he would probably just end it early and out of frustration because there is absolutely no way any of us could do it straight.
Ed would explode the castle and kill everyone
Yeah.
because that's the whole idea.
Well, no, they don't even play it straight. Like I said, Picard's the only one that seems to take it serious.
Yeah.
And even then, it's because he feels like it's a game, and if I play it through, he'll let us go.
Yeah. Well, once he gets fighting, before that, he's just arguing incessantly because, yeah, Picard can't let it go. But in the end, he kills all the bad guys, kills their guy, runs up, and he gets the girl until she goes off with Q to steal stuff. And eventually make Q's only appearance on DES9 happen, where Cisco thankfully has the decency to punch Q right in his. Okay, it's not that bad of an episode, but just a quick question. What does everybody think? Does Ira Stephen Bear deserve to be punched square in the dick at least once for writing this episode?
Yeah, I want to be nice. I want to be nice. I mean, he did a really, really great job on DS9. And
Yeah.
and let's face it, that him rocking the purple Van Dyke
We always like purple.
is pretty epic. But yeah, I mean, seriously, like sometimes I wonder if the writers and whatnot just get high and just like, hey man, what about this? What if they did this? And it's like,
I think they run out of ideas. There's only so many planets or alien of the week, right? So well, let's do something creative. Yeah, let's do this.
And they got to fill episodes.
Yeah. I'll tell you that here's the problem I have with this episode. The actual episode itself
the only one up.
wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
It had some fun parts to it. But every time, usually when Q is in an episode with Picard, it's to teach Picard a lesson that Picard learns. Like, okay, when Picard goes and sees what his life would be like if he had not been stabbed in the heart. That was Q teaching him a lesson. The last episode, right? All good things is Q teaching him a lesson. It's always like that. In this one, he's trying to teach him one, and he doesn't learn it. There's no like, wow, maybe I do need to consider finding somebody to spend my life with. So, no, it's none of that. The whole episode is just a big fizzle out at the end.
Well, Q gets the girl, so
Yeah, like he's like, here, I'm gonna teach you something. And I win. Oh, wait a minute.
I stole your girl, bitch.
I told your girl that you didn't want.
Yeah, I stole something you didn't want. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Well, I want it now that you stole it.
And so the only reason that he goes to rescue her, there's no indication in the thing that he goes to rescue her because he actually cares. He's doing it because it's the right thing to do.
He's a completionist.
Well, he sees his job. She's in this mess because of me. I'll go get her out of it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But,
yeah.
But there's no, oh, wow, I really do care about her. I need to go save her. There's none of that. There's none of that.
Yeah, because of course he's got to be. I'm Picard, and I don't have any real feelings.
Is he like Jean-Luc Picard, the galaxy's least eligible bachelor?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that they want to portray him as his only true love is his ship, right?
Yeah, let's not do that again because we saw it with Kirk. He boned everything, but then come the motionless picture, he wanted to screw that ship. Yeah, which hold on, go ahead. I just gotta. That reminds me of completely something unrelated. I will explain when I get there. Oh no.
But that was my, big takeaway from the episode is like it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have any significant ending to it where there's any meaningful growth or anything in the characters at all. It's just sort of there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain level of look. They kind of gotta fill slots to get this get the
Sure.
season done, but at the same time, every episode should contribute something to the overall tapestry of the series. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be prophetic, but at the same time, it should add something. There should be some level of development that each episode brings to the table.
Well,
and
yeah, no, I agree.
Then we get episodes like Sub Rosa and Code of Honor and
Qpid and the Naked Now and actually half of season 1 and a good chunk of season 2.
Shades of Grey. Do we know?
Yeah.
I think we should do a WT episode on Shades of Grey.
I don't think we can do a WTF episode. What are we going to say about that one? It's a clip show. Riker almost dies. He gets better. The end.
They turned me into a nuke.
Yeah, that's enough. That's a nothing burger.
Yeah.
This episode was at least seriously. The costuming is discount Ren fare.
Yeah.
And the fact that they stand there and they're just, oh, you must be this character, and it means you're this character, and you're this character, and then the plot happens.
Such as it is, yeah. But I watch some of these episodes, and sometimes I think, how would you fix this? How would you make this better? And it was really simple. All you had to do at the end is she leaves with Q, have him take from his desk a picture he has of her, and he just sort of looks at it. That's all you have to do. That look tells you everything you need to know. That he's like, wow, I actually do miss her. I could
Yeah.
potentially have something where he doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah. And he takes the picture off the Horgon that he kept from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and instead
So it's almost shaped like a sex ghost
nothing.
candle.
I just realized when you said a Horgon, I was like, is that the
Mhm.
statue or is that what Vox did?
Both.
Oh, God. That's terrible.
But yeah, this
Okay.
was not a good episode.
Yeah, but it wasn't a bad episode. And that's the important
No, it wasn't bad. Yeah, this
it's
is
one
a
of those-
solid
filler.
5 out of 10. It's just sort of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could watch it, laugh at the stupid parts, enjoy the little sword fighting and the stuff, but okay.
Yeah.
If it's not in the essentials list.
No, I mean, look, we've seen worse sword fighting on TV. I mean, do I need to remind us all of the sword fighting scene from V for Vendetta when V is watching was he watching the Count of Monte Cristo, and he's basically mimicking the sword fighting scene.
Mhm.
It's like, oh god. Oh God!
No, you're right. So I think back to the the original series episode Bread and Circuses where the McCoy and Spock have to fight gladiator style.
Oh, geez.
That sword fighting was more convincing to stuff than it was in this.
Look, I just want the I want the sweatshirt with the cut off sleeves and
The little slave symbol.
yeah. The chain the link
Mhm.
chain symbol. But yeah, I mean, look. To be honest, look, I'm sure they probably had a contract with John Delancey. They had to run out, and they got him in for the episode. They did something a little fun with it. I'm sure it was kind of like we got this idea. Let's just throw it here. I mean, you could plonk it in and be done. Not the worst episode, because that, quite honestly, will always probably be Code of Honor. But wow, just wow.
We'll save that for next season.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah. So now that we've asked the question, WTF, let us know what you think. Did we get it right, or is there more to discuss? I hope not, because this one can go away, and we can find
Mhm.
something even more ridiculous to watch. So, there's nothing else. Thank you for joining us here on Treknicity, where we do the deep dive on all things in the Star Trek multiverse. I'm your host, Patrick Murray, and with me are my co-hosts, Lars DeSenza and Mike Raper. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Treknicity.com, as well as visiting our socials listed here, including TikTok if it's back up or down or whatever happens to it. Or find us in your favorite podcast services, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. If you have any ideas for future episode subjects, please feel free to email us at show@treknicity.com or DM us on any of the DM us on any of our social media accounts, or hit us up on our Discord, because somebody's always around there. Always. And as always, rock out with your Spock out. See you next time.